I think it's a fundamental shift in my thinking. Even though I focus on the individual, I can particularize people very well. I think it was always for the sake of the team. And to kind of solidify that for me was in some ways exciting, but also I think we just kind of zoomed in a bit and realized, oh, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing our work. Invest in the individual so that an individual can have a shaping impact on not only the team, but on the culture. Hopefully positively.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Vision podcast. My name is Nathan Freeberg. Happy Memorial Day, the day that Americans honor those that have served in the armed forces. And you know, it's also very nearly the halfway point of the year and a really, really great time to reflect and sort of have like a mid-year check-in. That was Brian and Dr. Linda Schubring you heard at the beginning of the episode doing their annual mid-year check-in, and we're going to hear more from them later. Because today on the podcast, we wanted to briefly share some of the reflection questions that we use and that you can use too, perhaps today, as you might have an extra moment to yourself as you're cooking out or grilling or maybe spending time with family in some way. Just that moment to yourself to reflect on how the first 6 months of the year have gone and perhaps how you hope that the next 6 will go. These questions are pretty simple, but they're great to answer both on your own and then with your team, either in person or via, some sort of like shared Google Doc. Whatever the method is, reflecting on the past to improve the future is a necessary exercise for any team that wants to get better at what they do. So this is an activity that we've used on our team in the past, and we've even shared it here on the podcast way back in 2019, which feels like decades ago at this point, but we've found that it can be done in as little as 5 minutes, or if you really, really get into it, maybe if you're talking through with a whole bunch of friends or teammates or whatever that is, even family members, maybe it can take an hour or more. Maybe you do it with your family to analyze those dynamics or with a group of friends. It doesn't really matter, but the key is to just do something. I really thought it could be helpful for us here today to sort of zoom in and look at those specific things that have gone well or not so well since January 1st, and then maybe zoom out and think about how you want to shape your work, both personally and professionally, between now and December 31st. Zoom in, zoom out is something we say a lot at Leadership Vision. Maybe zoom back and zoom forward. I don't know, but regardless, here are the questions. First, I'm going to share 6 questions to help you reflect on the first half of the year, and then I'm going to share 4 questions that you can use to look forward. So I guess there's like 10 in all. Here are the questions. Reflections on the first half of the year. Start with what has gone well? What have you been surprised by? What are you doing? What stood out to you? What are you wondering about? What do you need your colleagues to know? Some good stuff in there. You can expand as much as you want, as little as you want. Maybe you just jot down a few words or phrases or sentences, full paragraphs or pages. Whatever helps you to reflect and think, what's gone well this year? What has made this 6 months, somewhat successful? And then what do you need for a successful second half of the year? So maybe ask yourself some questions like, what does success even look like for you? That's sometimes the biggest question of all, right? Is you have to define success before you can know if you've achieved it. What will make for a meaningful second half of the year? Maybe that's different than what does success look like. And third one here, who could be the most helpful to you? I know for me that is Justin. And number 4, who would you like to partner with? And I think for me that would be John. Answer that for yourself. We would love to hear your answers to that. It could be, very wide-ranging, very specific. I think really the more specific you can be, the better, because we hope that these are going to be helpful to you and encourage you to share your answers with us. You can either send us an email, you can reach out on social media, or you can even just comment right on the blog post or share it with a friend, a colleague, a family member. Maybe create some goals around that. Maybe that's helpful. Whatever it is, just we want this to be helpful, and we'd love to hear what you come up with. So like I said, feel free to reach out to us, social media, our blog, whatever it is. All right, so now here is the rest of the reflections from Brian and Dr. Linda Schubring. You may remember them from the very beginning of this episode. And they're going to share just a little bit about what they've been reflecting on so far from this year, and then a little bit about what they need to have a successful second half of the year. Enjoy.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hello, Linda and I are just finishing up 5 days of working up here in northern Minnesota. Every year we typically take a week in the spring to reevaluate how the first 5 months have gone and look into what's going to be happening for the next 7 months. And we've been really busy with a variety of things up here, and we just want to take a moment to just share what has stood out from this week.
What stood out for me was the need to just be in another context. We would come on the boat and we have our computers and all of our notes, and we begin to kind of deconstruct what's gone on. We had some goals that we were seeking to achieve last year, and we evaluated, did we track to them? Did we are we headed in the right direction? And as we spoke, I think there was an opportunity to do some fine tuning of who we are, how we show up, and what we do. And I think for me, one of the best pieces is that we realized some of our dreams are not aspirational anymore. They are actual. The clients that we work with, the opportunities that we have, the things that we have coming down the pike feel like very true to who we are now and who we will grow into. But it isn't like, oh, I wish someday we could do this or that.
One of the themes that really stood out to both of us was this sense of no matter how much we're focusing on our work with teams, it's still the moments with the individual, those moments of breakthrough, the moments of struggle that we're having with individuals trying to find their way on teams. That seems to be the highlight that we're remembering over and over again, re-emphasizing the importance of our work and the impact that it has on individuals. Would you agree?
I especially agree because I think it's a fundamental shift in my thinking. Even though I focus on the individual, I can particularize people very well. I think it was always for the sake of the team.
That's right.
And Brian would always tell me his favorite part of all the work that we do is the one-to-one conversation with people. And I thought, okay, that's good. But it's when we see the movement, and we realize, and I've realized in this week, is that it starts with the individual, helping them be healthy, inspiring them to be their best selves, which then leads to them being better team members and contributing positively to the healthy dynamics on a team. And yes, it starts with one individual at a time. And to kind of solidify that for me was in some ways exciting, but also I think we just kind of zoomed in a bit and realized, oh, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing our work. Invest in the individual for the sake of the team. Invest in the individual so that an individual can have a shaping impact on not only the team, but on the culture. Hopefully positively.
Yeah, hopefully. We also spent many hours thinking about the rest of this year and the future. We had a moment to have a very catalytic meeting with Justin and Nathan to design some of the things that you'll be seeing in the future. And part of it is a continued focus on how we can use the team engagement platform to engage our clients, as well as how we can also kind of open up the vault, if you could say, to investigate how do we make some of our materials and our resources more readily available and accessible to individuals, whether they're people that are interested in strengths or people that are interested in working more with teams, how to train teams, how to facilitate time with teams. We want to help individuals like that by making some of our resources available.
I'm so thankful for I'm always thankful for the work that Nathan does, the guiding, shaping impact of Justin and Amy, just keeping all the balls in the air, which is really helpful. And so as we think of the week, I just can't overemphasize enough the importance of working on the business. Brian and I both get caught, as do many people, just working in the business, trying to take care of this, prepare for that, follow up with this. And the working on the business actually brings the kind of clarity that, as I've reached out to clients this week, I feel like my voice is more refined. Mm-hmm. I feel like I am more settled.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
It's not like, well, northern Minnesota is really beautiful. It's been a little bit chilly.
Yeah, let's not be mistaken. It hasn't been all work. We've had some great meals up here. I'm actually learning how to cook a really good steak on the grill.
Yeah.
We have had the chance to listen to some podcasts and reflect on what the messages were there. We even did some guided practice for some self-care that we're doing. Actually did that on the pontoon, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Any fun highlight from you?
Sometimes having a practice to really begin to care for yourself and notice what's happening in you. The person leading the practice, just on the internet, was like, what are they?
I don't know, Linda, but I thought you were going to say the highlight was going to that garage sale just down the street from our cabin where some guy tried to convince you to buy a wetsuit.
Yep. I said, well, if you knew me, I don't go in water that's so cold that I would need a wetsuit.
I encourage her to buy it, but...
And he's like, oh, but... And had some other... I was like, I don't know how I could have been more direct. I don't go in water that is too cold. I like to be on the water.
Well, I think we should bring this video to an end because we're drifting really close to shore. So,
yep.
My name is Brian Schubring.
I'm Linda Schubring.
And thanks for watching.
And maybe we can add the loons and the eagles.
Oh, where eagles watch over us and loons accompany us every day. The beauty of those two animals have always been with us.
So good.
Well, thanks, Linda. Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you for listening to the Leadership Vision podcast, sharing our expertise in the discovery, practice, and implementation of a strengths-based approach to people, teams, and culture. For more resources about developing your strengths, the strengths of your team, or the strengths of your entire organization, you can click the link in the show notes or visit us on the web at leadershipvisionconsulting.com. And you may not know this, but we have a couple of new free resources available on our website. Just go to leadershipvisionconsulting.com. You can click on the 4 teams or 4 individual menu nav items at the top. The individual exercise is for individuals. The team one is for teams, maybe self-explanatory. But people are using them together, and I think that's really powerful and can be a great free way for you to kind of take your strengths, knowledge, and understanding to the next level. I'm Nathan Freeberg, and on behalf of our entire team, thanks for listening.